Hey guys, it's Josh here and welcome back to another speed build video. As you can probably tell already, I'm using the new terrain tools which came with the most recent update, and basically I built this house the moment I woke up and had breakfast and basically got ready, and I just turned my computer on, updated, and just started building because honestly I was ready, and I've been ready for this for quite a while now. So honestly it was just so much fun to be able to finally get the chance to use these amazing terrain tools and see what I end up coming up with. I do a few more builds after this, so they'll be coming out over the coming days when I get a chance to edit them all. But for the most part, this house is a modern house because my favorite type of house is modern. If I was gonna build a house for the first time using terrain tools, it will definitely have to be a modern house because I've seen so many modern houses that have balconies that hang over a cliff or something like that. So it just made so much sense to take inspiration from as many different types of houses that I've seen that incorporate terrain into it, like uneven terrain, and see what I came up with. So this is the house that I ended up coming up with. It's a fairly basic shape, but honestly the fact that it's on a hill and it just has a bridge kind of area in the middle just makes it look that much different. Because if this was just a flat block of land and this house was just plonked onto the flat terrain, I feel like it wouldn't look as good. But honestly I feel like since the terrain is a main part of this build, it just makes the house look a little bit better in my opinion, and I think it turned out really good overall because I was able to use some of the hill as an outdoor area, which was quite interesting. I ended up putting a ladder, not a ladder, oh my goodness, I wish we had ladders. I ended up putting a staircase from the back area to the ground level, but I decided not to do that, and I just kept the ground level kind of secluded because it's kind of its own, it's a bit private because your Sims aren't even able to get there to the outdoor area without going through the house. So it's kind of basically a private area, I guess. Hopefully. I don't think Sims can climb up mountains, can they? They can't route up there. But anyway, we're finally inside now doing the oh my goodness, I've just been thinking about terrain all day, so that's just the first word that comes into my head. So we were inside doing some floor planning. It was actually quite simple, and the floor plan was a little bit similar to one of my previous modern houses, but I ended up changing it up a little bit more so that it wasn't similar anymore. But for the most part, it's actually a fairly small house, but I did end up fitting in 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, one being a ensuite. I did fit up a dining area. Well, it's actually a small dining area, a very small lounge area, but I feel like if you wanted to, you could probably shuffle around some of the pieces of furniture and make it more suitable for you, so you can shrink the dining area a little bit and make a bigger lounge, that sort of thing. But I like how it turned out, and I'd personally use this house in one of my own personal saves, so I'm really excited to just live in this house in general. Both bedrooms are fairly simple. It's probably suited for maybe siblings that live together, I'm not too sure, but there's 2 bedrooms both with double beds. Not really probably a teen or a child, but obviously you could just change the furniture and it's instantly a teen's or child's bedroom. And we're in the furnishings now, finally at the kitchen as per usual. I do go for a lighter color scheme. I did go for a brown one at the start, but in the end I decided to go for a little bit more lighter grey, white kind of tones instead of the brown tones, but I feel like that worked a lot better in the end. And for the most part, the general color scheme of the house is a grey, white to black, and a little bit of wooden timber tones, because it wouldn't be my house if there wasn't any wooden timber tones in it, because I just cannot restrain myself to not use wooden tones, because honestly it's my favorite texture in the whole world. Honestly, seeing timber floors or timber furniture, it just looks amazing. Anyway, we're in the study area now. It doesn't take too much longer to do the main furnishings, because this actually didn't take that long because I just mainly focused on the terrain tools, and I just wanted to finish this as soon as possible because I was just so excited to share everyone my first build using terrain tools, and honestly I think it turned out quite nice. I think my second terrain tool build which I did like basically right after I did this, turned out slightly better. It is a bit smaller and it actually is on a much smaller lot, but honestly, I feel like it turned out slightly better because it was a bit more like decorated, I guess, on the outside, because this lot was really big and I generally struggle to landscape really big lots because it just takes so much time and sometimes I just don't have the patience. I feel like I could have done a bit better on the sides of the house, but I think it turned out decent because I wanted to put mirrors on the wall and it would look a bit weird if it was like stuck to the glass, so I had to raise up the glass, but from the outside it looks a little bit weird, but I feel like either way it's pretty nice. And since the windows are so high up, you could probably put something on the wall from the outside like those decorative rakes and stuff. That would look decent, I guess. And now we're on to the bedroom areas and the entrance area. The entrance area has a few seats in it as well, just so your Sims can like sit and chat if they want, or put their shoes on the seats or something like that, something simple like that. And there's also a few decorations because honestly, I can never use enough decorations. I just have to place as many decorations as possible, as many pieces of clutter as possible. I just have to. But one thing I'm gonna do in the future is do like a display home kind of house where basically I'm not really gonna use any clutter at all, because display homes are meant to look really neat, really tidy, zero clutter. So that'll be really exciting since I'm just going to make it a rule that I'm not going to use any clutter. I'm not sure how that will turn out, but it'll probably look a little bit empty, but I'm not going to use any clutter for my build. And I just have to see how that turns out. But anyway, back to this speed build. I'm basically at this stage just like refining each room, because I usually like go through in cycles and I kind of go through the house once, place the main pieces of furniture, go through again, like place a little bit more clutter and decorations, and then like do like a final sweep and basically like make it a little bit more detailed and add more smaller bits of detail. So I could place like the big furniture first, then like the plants and wall paintings, and then the pieces of clutter. And that usually works for me. Sometimes for really big houses I don't do that because it'll just take way too long, and I usually just go room by room and just finalize each room as I go. But for this house, since it was fairly small, I was able to just cycle through each room a few times and then basically get it to the point where I'm happy with it slowly. And there were those paintings just there were like the really cool ones that look really minimalistic or minimalist styled, which I think is really cool. It's been in the game for such a long time, but I only like discovered it a few months ago, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing. I should use this way more often. But yeah, I think since I rediscovered, I've been using it in nearly every single build, and it just looks amazing. And the swatches are really unique, and it's a really unique kind of like poster art as well, because most of them are not even posters, and most of the poster ones are usually like the kids ones, but those ones are pretty like stylish and minimalist style, which look really cool. And there's also a bit of seating near the dining area so that you can just sit indoors and basically just look out the window, because depending on where you place this lot, you could potentially have an ocean view or something amazing. But anyway, I think we're almost ready to go outside. The outside does take a little bit longer than usual because obviously we are working with terrain, so like getting to the point where it looks nice takes a little bit longer. But I just placed a few plants on the hill and then a few plants at the base of the hill, placed a fountain underneath the house, which looks really cool, and I placed like a few water jets as well, and then I placed like a few trees on the sides of the lot, which just made it look a little bit more natural, since the surrounding area in the lot is pretty bare because like everything is focused around the terrain. So like I just kind of neglected the exterior outskirts, so I just like made it a little bit more detailed by placing a few trees just so it didn't look empty. But anyway, I think we're basically ready to move on to the outside, and since I basically just explained what was going to happen, I might just leave you guys off here. If you'd like to find this build on the gallery, it will be up on the gallery under IllogicalSims. The house is called Twin Peaks Modern. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this speed build. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!